Pooja.
Hi, Pooja.
So I watched the movie yesterday, and I want to tell you, for me, the movie, picture this, felt like a really warm, cozy hug. It was romantic, it was fun, and I felt it was packed with a lot of heart. There was a lot of love and warmth in the movie, but I want to know what made both of you get the spark and go like, yes, we need to do this, we need to make this movie. What was that point?
First of all, thank you for watching it, and I'm so glad that it felt like a warm hug because that was what we were going for. So yay for that. For me, honestly, I think when I started reading Nikita's script, and I was reading a lot of scripts at that time that was set around Indian weddings because I think there's so much interest around Indian weddings and what happens in them, and they were all kind of the boy meets girl, Indian wedding, all the usual stuff. And I read her script, and it wasn't about the girl's wedding; it was a sister's wedding, and it was all these other things that happened. It had a South Asian family that was set in sort of a rom-com world with a lot of like big set pieces, all of these funny dates. But I think for me, the scene that really made me want to make this movie was the scene when she goes on the date with Akshay, who I thought was going to be the guy she ends up with, because I thought it was going that way. Because they seemed so
Yeah,
perfect together. They really liked each other. And I also liked that it was going against the tropes of like, oh, here's the guy who's a bit nerdy, but she finds him attractive. They're into each other. And then when he realizes, what he realizes, without giving too much away, I was like, what is going on in this movie? Like, I want to read more. And at that point, I was like, sign me up. How do I get this film?
yeah.
Yeah, I think I wanted to get inside the romantic comedy universe and then mess about with it and be a little bit subversive with it, explode it a bit, have all of that sense of expectation, but also a sense of agency for the main character. So she might want to make her own fate. She might be someone who is, she believes that life should be a certain way and she reevaluates it while she's going through the process of the film. But she's open to dating, she's open to like her parents and her friends setting her up, but she's also open to thinking about how does she want to be in love in this world, how does she want to do that. I really loved kind of bringing a lot of the humor and tension that I've experienced in my own life, whether dating or within the family or in the extended universe of my own life, into this, but to try and make it unexpected, I guess.
Again, rom-coms have, especially with the advent of OTT, we as a viewer, we have a lot of access to different diverse stories. I liked how there was a whole new cultural aspect brought into the rom-com trope. That was great. But I would like to know how was your approach while keeping the film relevant in life, but also keep the magic of classic romance just inside it. It was very balanced. So I want to know how your approach was to maintaining the refreshness, the themes with the romance.
I think a lot of that comes from the script, right? It starts there, and I think Nikita's script was really a really good balance between sort of the comedy of things and the hijinks of like the chaos of her dating life and her multiple relationships within her friend circle and her family. But then there was also the thread of the Charlie relationship, which kind of weaves in and out. That kind of is what she's trying to distract herself from by going on these dates, because she's like, I don't want to go back there. I know how it ends. I know what it was. I don't want that. But instead and the thing that I really love about Pia's character is that while she begrudgingly goes on the dates, she genuinely fully goes on the dates. She's
Yeah,
not
she
like,
does.
I have an attitude, or I
Yeah,
don't like you, or he's not like, she's non-judgmental in the dates. She gives everybody a shot.
be open to the conversation with Azim's character. Like you don't
Yeah.
expect. You're like, maybe she might be hesitant, but she was really open to have a conversation until things started getting really messed
Until
up.
he
So
basically was, went a bit off the rails. And I think, to me, I thought that was so charming. And we really were mindful about that because, Pia's character is not judgy. She's not like, I'm too good for people sort
she's
of
not.
person.
Yeah, she's
She just doesn't want that. She really
she just
wants to. Yeah, she wants to grow her business. She wants to be focused. And I think when she decides to jump into it, she goes in both feet in, like she's fully open, which I thought was really cool and also different than what we usually see in these rom-coms. Yeah.
Yeah, she brings her entire self to the party, doesn't she? So when she turns up for a date, she's like, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what life will bring? Who knows what could happen? She's open to it. And there's a joy in watching her do that. And there's a joy in feeling like as she walks out of the door, anything could happen in the narrative, anything could happen in the story of Pia.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a great optimism that's at the heart of the film, even though she's going on structured blind dates, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, representation, huge part of the film. Were there some non-negotiables for you while portraying the Indian culture authentically?
There were a lot of non-negotiables for me. I think a lot of it started with how we're visually represented. I think it was really important to work with our key creatives on making sure, everybody looked good. Skin tones were really important because we have such a variety of gorgeous people in this movie. And I wanted to make sure that we were really celebrating that and that we took time to make sure that everyone looked like themselves. And at the same time, we wanted to feel like a celebration. We wanted the worlds to be really kind of vibrant. We were very thoughtful about, the ceremony, the wedding, the clothes, and also how, weddings are more modernized today, and how when you have a wedding in the US or in the UK, how those elements are also sort of brought in. It's a little bit more modernized, and also the your guest list and all of these things. Like, we were really thoughtful about those things and wanted to feel like that people who've been to these things before or have experienced it feel like it feels authentic to them. But at the same time, it was also exciting and opens up a window for folks who've never experienced it. Be like, wow, that looks really, interesting and colorful and like a celebration. Yeah.
I think the big non-negotiable for me was cliche and stereotype. And so that's what I was always working at from the start, not to take the first idea or the first avatar or the first incarnation of a character, but to mess about it, make it frayed at the edges, reinvent it, do something unexpected. It's quite a bawdy kind of film at times. There's a lot of humor that sort of gets a bit edgy, and I think that was important too, that there's a wide-ranging sensibility, that you're not just circling around the same old people sitting in a box.
Yeah.
I would just want to mention one scene, because I was watching this yesterday and I was like, I have to tell you this. The scene is where I don't want to give a lot away. There was a scene with the chapel where she runs out.
Yeah.
I just felt so happy seeing the typical traditional Indian chapel, and then
the Bata chapel.
watching that on screen, like, it was so. There, you had me there. I'm like, no, now it's there.
Oh, trust me, we saw a lot of chapels.
Yeah.
Before I was like, no. The Bata chapel. Find that for me.
And you got the exact one, so it's bang on.
Yeah.
Another one was the mother-daughter relationship in the movie. So, being a single-parented daughter brought up by a single mom, I was watching my mother watch the movie, because every time Sindhu Mam's character was emoting herself so unapologetically, because we know she's a brown mom who embodies all the typical traits of her, but she ultimately is the throne of the house. She can pull you by the ear, and Pia can be just a baby back. She can drop all the things. So, I don't want to reveal too much, but there was a scene towards the end where they have a conversation. And I want to tell you, it felt really close and comforting for me, because it was not something, because there are movies where you feel like, you know what, no mother's going to talk to daughter like this. It's not going to happen. There's no Indian mom who talks like this. I've watched movies, but when I watched their conversation towards the end, I felt like jumping and giving her a hug, because it was so. There was, thank you for that moment. So what I want to know is there are certain moments where you were like, you know what, I want to get it exactly like this, and that's like, no, we're not giving a lot of space for improvisation. Let's just go exactly like this, because it's really important. Was there something like that?
This particular scene, the relationship with Sindhu and Lakshmi and Pia was very important to me because I think when Sindhu and I worked on creating the character Lakshmi, we drew a lot from our own moms and the women in our lives. And it was so important to us to have a Indian mom represented in all of her complex glory. Because I think sometimes we do a real disservice to our Indian moms. And I've grown around some of the most coolest women who are both traditional but are able to change and accept us as it might be hard for them. But from the thing that we always said when she and I were doing the film, when we were working on the character, is that in that last scene, it's important to us that the audience cheers for her, and not be like, oh, it should be a celebration. We wanted to get there and we wanted to build us to that point. Because for us, it's a love letter to our moms, and wow. I think that scene is so sweet and it's one of my favorite scenes. And they both really brought it. And I think it's really for us, we want our moms to feel special when they see it. And my mom loved that scene. She was like, she's a cool lady, is what she said.